It's okay to make another spot XRP ETF. Also, can spot ETFs for XRP bring the price up to 10? I learned all of that and more. We'll also look at some new information that has come to light. More than 90% likely to file for an XRP ETF in the United States this year. That's some fresh new information. We will also look at some information about DTCC, ACI Global, Swift, Ripple, and XRP. This week, Canada just put out 3 spot XRP. XRP, the third biggest digital asset by market cap, can now be bought and sold by investors under strict rules. The first 3 are 3 IQ, Evolve, ETFs, and Purpose Investments. This is how much money they are in charge of. Purpose is a much bigger company with 23 billion units because Purpose has 3 times as many items as Evolve does, if not more, then 5 times as many. The next one is 3 IQ, which is 2 billion. It will be interesting to see how this list changes and grows over the next 6 to 12 months. Do not forget that this is only Canada. Thanks to everyone in Canada who made this possible. It seems like a lot of people are always asking, Sensei, what can this do to the prices? Does this really matter? The following details are given. What can happen to price if $5 billion, 0 cents, $25 billion, 0 cents, is added to a spot through ETF inflows over the next, however long it takes? Here is a lot of that information: 5, 25, and 100 billion. One more thing is a market cap factor. We sometimes see a 25, 50, or even 100x multiplier when we look at how much money comes into 2XRP or another digital currency and how that changes the market cap. Let's say we got 5 billion, 25 billion, or 100 billion. That might look like a few $100 billion. That would make this, $1 trillion, $2.5 trillion, or $5 trillion. This would make XRP worth much more than $50, 0 cents, maybe even close to $100, 0 cents. We might be able to get a 100-fold multiplier on 15 or 20 billion if we can get a 50-fold multiplier on 100 billion. And that could have the same effect. This is what I want you to understand. This only includes spot ETFs. These coins are not stable. This is not the same thing as tokenizing cash assets. This isn't DeFi going off. That's not what this is. We'll be able to add value to all of these lines over the next 6 to 12 months. The price can change a lot because of all the things I just listed, plus a lot more. This is James Safa. It sounds like he's talking about Eric Balkahamas and making our chances better for the vast majority of the time. Spot coin filings of 90% or more for the XRP ETF. These are all the ETFs. What are the most asked about things here? As you can see, the 2 most popular are XRP and Solana. At this point, XRP is more popular than Solana. Do not forget that Dogecoin has a few. Cardano has 1 Grayscale and 1 Polkadot. HBAR has 1 Canary and 1 Grayscale. Avalanche has 1 Grayscale and 1 Vinect. Sui has Canary first, then Tron has Canary. Guys, I'm really excited about XRP, Cardano, HBAR, Avalanche, and Sui on this list. So here are some more facts. How long does it take for the spot XRP ETF to be approved? This question keeps coming up, so I thought I'd at least talk about it with you so that we can all understand. Here is the information you need. It's not impossible that a US spot XRP ETF will be approved before the whole case between Ripple and the SEC is over, but it's also very unlikely. The way things are going right now makes it very likely that the SEC is waiting for more legal clarity before making a final decision. Here are some important things to remember about all of this. The SEC's review method and the time it takes. The SEC has repeatedly pushed back the dates when it will review spot XRP ETF applications from Franklin Templeton, Bitwise, and other companies. The official reason for these delays is that more time is needed to think about legal issues and to get feedback from the public and look at the industry. Most experts think that the ongoing legal uncertainty with Ripple is the main reason why this isn't allowed. There's also legal uncertainty, which has direct effects on the decision. The SEC is mostly interested in whether XRP is a security or whether the market for XRP is safe enough from theft and manipulation. I mean, I think this 5-year court case has already shown that XRP is not a security. But I guess the fact that they're pulling up here is a worry. The SEC and Ripple have agreed to stop the appeals process until they hear back from the district court about a new settlement move. The next big court hearing is set for August 15, 2025, and the SEC probably won't make a final decision about ETFs before then. Market and expert expectations, prediction markets, and analysts are still hopeful that the approval will happen in the end, but most predictions depend on the case being over, or at least getting to a safe legal state. Polymarket, for instance, has shown that the chances of approval changing but staying high. This shows that people are confident that the approval will make the law clearer. Then the Canadian example, Canada has already approved a spot XRP ETF, but US regulators are being more cautious, especially since the SEC is still suing Ripple. A lot of people in the XRP world thought that this would all be over now that Trump was in office. It looks like this will take longer than expected, but we finally feel like we're on the right track to finish this. This time, Chad Steingraber wrote that people should stop following and start being leaders. The US bought XRP ETF. The chief legal officer of Coinbase says it's time to catch up since Canada got an XRP ETF before the US. And Chad put up this, paper with information for investors. We heard the CEO say earlier that it would be out before this one. I made a movie earlier about it. Let me check to see if I can find that right away. Their guess is between $5,000, 0 cents, and $4,300, 0 cents. Yes, buyers want to know when the price will go up. That's what everyone wants. Yes. That's the only way we can find out. And I need to figure out how to do that if we have a 22-page paper that isn't out yet. That's what our experts did, and he talked about all the legal ways to price XRP. And it cost anywhere from $5, 0 cents to $4,300, 0 cents, based on when you bought it and how you plan to use it. It's supply, desire, and speed for me. How many XRP did that use? If the trade takes 5 seconds to settle, is it possible to do it 12 times in 1 minute? Is that something you can do all the time? How much XRP do you really need? All of those are simple questions that the velocity models need to settle. That will happen in due course. We are still in the early stages of this business. We're all sitting here. Every year this will get bigger. But I think that what you're talking about here is probably the beginning of the end for XRP and the Ripple system. All of those things will help. Arbitrageurs will then come in and get rid of those price differences, making it easier to trade. It will take time, but it will happen. Things take place, little things like using money in a way that makes you rich faster than you think. Things move faster than you think when people want to make money. When you're trying to change a whole business system, which is what we're talking about here, that takes longer than you think to happen in the end. It's going to happen, but give it time. Okay, Sal has given us a lot of really useful information. Then this is some information that investors need to know about how it works. Use the XRP ETF. Someone buys an ETF, TFSA, or RRSP. XRP is bought by the ETF. Someone who owns an ETF also owns XRP. Investors who buy XRP directly look at the XRP market, TFSA, and RRSP. An investor puts money into or starts an account at a certain XRP market. Investors choose an XRP platform and have a wallet with it. An investor buys XRP and now has it. This is either straight buying or how the